Hey everybody, I just wanted to tell the story about how Burning Man went in 2025. It was last year. It was kind of an interesting trip, and I might sneeze a couple of times, but we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. The cat smell may come inside, and then I have to smell it, and then I might sneeze. But it'll be okay, really. It's okay. So, the going to Burning Man this year was quite interesting. Um, I may not look directly into the camera if you don't mind, because I'm gonna tell a story and it might take a while, and staring at my phone may not be the best place for me to look while I tell the story. Okay, so don't be, it'll be okay. So, 2025 Burning Man last year. It was pretty interesting how it went. I didn't. It was the first year that went the way it did. So, um, yeah, I didn't do any drugs. I didn't drink any. Took a little bit of pain medication for a little boo boo, but that was it. And I drank a lot of tea. Well, that might count. I don't know. Anyway, the I ended up losing my job in July from this company I was working for, but I worked for like 19 years. Oh well. So I went to putting my stuff together, and I didn't want to like claim unemployment because I knew I was going to be going on vacation to Burning Man. That I bought a ticket back in like February or whenever they come out. Around Super Bowl time, the tickets start to sell. So or March. Yeah, I ended up buying, excuse me. I ended up buying a ticket. He got me a ticket. I was happy. Bought a new truck in January. I ordered it in like November, at the end of November, and they said, yeah, it'll be, several weeks, a month or two or three. So I ended up getting it late January. Then in February, late February, I bought the ticket, and then went to Burning Man and at the end of August. So I ended up working, paid for the ticket. This year I got it in 3 lumps. So paying for it in 3 lumps made it a lot easier, 300, 300, 300. So that made it easier. And then so then I went from here to there. The So I got the new truck. I was worried about what the dust will do to it. We'll just have to wait and see what the dust did to my truck. I know it's still on the plastic inside the door. Inside there's a flat piece on the door that goes down like this, and the dust is actually still on the plastic because it rained on like the first day. So anyway, I lost my job in like August or July. I spent August packing and looking for a job, and I didn't find anything that pays as much as I had. So I was like, screw it. I'll go to Burning Man and find a job when I get back. So I went and packed all my stuff up. I ended up ordering close green fur. It's like strips of green fur. That's their fur that's been dyed green from the Jungle Company. I bought 4-inch wide strips, and then I got a bunch of zip ties, and I zip tied the fur around my bicycle, and I put this long tail whip and zip tied it to the frame, and I figured out how to get the battery box in the frame, zip tied to it, and then I took one of those LED lights that's like a strip LED light, and it's thick. It's not like the the thin wide one like that, which goes up in text, and it's got the little LEDs in it that you can see. Instead, this one was like a clear plastic. It was like 3/4 of an inch by half an inch, and it was like this strip, and it rolled up, and then one side of it's lit, and I was able to get this fiberglass pole and zip tie it to the frame in two different places, and then I zip tied this LED strip to it, and it went out like a tail on my bicycle. And I originally had like the green fur around it, so people wouldn't say, "Oh, it's too bright." So, oh well. And then I took the bottle holder on a bicycle and put an empty jug, empty bottle in it, and then put the battery pack in it. And then there was a bunch of green fur. Wrapped the green fur around the frame. So just imagine, if you would, I'm wrapping the green fur around the frame and across the handlebar, and then around the neck, around, and then I took a strip and went around the forks, up, over, and down each fork, and then the top tube on the bicycle. And then I think I went the fork in the back where the rear axle is. I came up to the seat tube and then back down to the other side of the fork axle on the rear, and zip tied the fur across that. So then I was like, oh, this is cool, and I rode it over to the park and back a couple of times. And I thought, oh man, this thing really looks cool. If anybody asks, I'll just say I stole it from some cute chick at Burningman. Anyway, no, I didn't. I put it together myself. Anyway, I didn't have a unicorn horn on it. I should have found one, but I couldn't find one. I didn't look. So I got that in the trailer, crammed it in there, and then from the jungle side, I ended up getting this furry jacket. And it's like a knee-length coat because I know it's gotten cold there a couple of times. First time I went in 2013, I was like shivering because I had on like my underwear, these thin lycra shorts, and then a really thin t-shirt on the day of the burn, and it was freaking cold that year. I mean, I was shaking. I was standing in front, and then it gets hot during the day, cold at night. It is just frigidly cold. And I was like standing right next to every single burn barrel I could find until I finally got back to my sleeping bag so I could get warm. It was just painfully cold. So I ended up this year, or in 2025, I ended up, let's see, I got the fur on the bicycle, oh, the coat. So I ended up getting some lights, and you can cut a little hole through the lining, and then pull the string of lights out in the fur, and then find another little hole or cut a little hole in the lining, and then another one, and zip tie. You can actually work the zip tie through the material and then just zip tie the light to it and then zip it down and clip it. So yeah, the little thing on the zip tie that goes into the clasp. You can actually work that back and forth like a worm would, and then push it through the material, and then feed it back around to where the clasp is, and push it through, wiggle it back and forth, work it through the material, and then put it in the clasp and pull it tight. And then the lights are zip tied in. So I did that. It was cool. I wore it a couple days while I was at Burningman. So anyway, I just bought in 2024 I went too. And it was, I just bought a trailer in 2024, like 2 weeks before leaving to go to Burning Man. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, hey, I got this trailer to go to Burning Man 2 days before I went. Or 2 weeks, actually. So anyway, I got everything packed in there. I added 2 15-gallon jugs in the trailer. That way I'd have enough water. 15-gallon jugs. And I put those 2 in there. The year before, I put a 55-gallon barrel for dirty water. Only filled it halfway full. And then this year, I've used 2 15-gallon barrels for fresh water to drink. And then I ended up filling up 5-gallon buckets because it's easier to get rid of the water. You just carry it inside and dump it down the toilet. You're done with it, right? You put like a fourth a cup of that blue water in it, that chemical, and then it's done. And then you come home and pull the cap. I have a cap in the front yard. So I pull that off and dump it in there and spray down the yard after I'm done. So so that's that. Yeah, food, I took the same food I normally take. I put in, whenever I go camping for lunch, I'll take beef jerky or some of that beef is like in a beef stick round, and it has like skin on it. And so I would take that dried fruit, and then maybe chips or even dried fruit, nuts, and then sunflower seeds and raisins, and usually a cookie or a bagel or something, and then eat that for lunch. It makes lunch every day. There's no cooking, no nothing, lots of protein, sugar, calories. I mean, it's great. So I end up eating that for lunch every day. And no refrigerant, too. So I don't end up taking ice. Everything that I put in is dry goods. Canned chicken every night with noodles or rice, usually noodles. And then spaghetti noodles, not ramen. Good quality whole wheat noodles, pasta noodles. And then the canned chicken, and then lentil, because it's easy beans to cook. And then dried tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes. And then, let's see, some fruits. What else? Anyway. So anyway, I threw that in for food, and then eat like cereal for breakfast. And then the dried milk, I would take the powdered milk and have dried milk every meal. And so that's food. So I threw all that in, and cold weather, and threw it in and drove off. I didn't have a job. I was like, oh well, painted, be nice to me. I just lost my job. And painted it on the back, and I went and put a diamond on top, and which was cool. And so I got the took off, headed for Burning Man, jobless. So I had plenty of time to get ready for it, and didn't care what time I got back. So Anyway, I ended up leaving here like I think it was on Sunday. Sunday morning. Yeah. No, no, no. I left here on Saturday. And so I left here on Saturday and got to this campground about 4 or 5 o'clock down there in Northern California. Oh, no, no water. I was like, oh, dang it. They've always had water and now they don't. There's a tag on it that says, oh, we're chemical treating our water system. Now, yeah, they're chemical treating it with dry air. There's no water in their system. Anyway, I camped there for the night, and when I walked back around to where I was camping, I had my glasses on. I just got out of the truck. I just got the glasses like about a week ago, and they're weird because it's real clear, like right here as you're looking, but everything out here is blurry. And then because it was this progressive thing that was just cruel to my vision, and then it makes me feel drunk when I'm looking around. And I was standing on the curb, and then I was going to step up on this wooden platform, and then I fell on my face like I was the biggest nerd in the world. I just couldn't believe it. It was a very nerdy moment. And I fell forward, and my left leg caught my fall, and I went face forward, and both hands went down, and I did a one single push up to save myself from smacking my face on the ground. So, anyway, I didn't hurt myself then too bad. There was a bad bruise on my left leg in the middle, right in between the knee and the foot, that swelled up huge. And it just cleared up. The bump just cleared up, and it's like the end of January. So, yeah, it's been there since September, October, November, December, and now it's the end of January, and it's finally disappearing. I couldn't believe it. It was a very nerdy moment. Anyway, it healed up. It was real painful to the touch, so I ended up going to the nurse there at Burningman. And she said, here, take these. Oh, you didn't bring any medication. Oh, that's okay. It's been a busy day. And I went and talked to her on like Tuesday, or was it Monday? Before she sent me back to my camp, she said, yeah, there's another windstorm coming through, so we can take you back if you can't get back to your vehicle soon enough. I was like, no, ma'am, that's okay. And she was like the head nurse there. Like, no, no, I'm okay. I can walk. I mean, for some reason, I got this weird condition where pain doesn't. It should hurt, but it doesn't. She called it, what's it called, sepsis or something. I forgot what it is. It's like it should hurt, but it doesn't, and your body deals with the pain, and there isn't any pain. It's like, and then you don't feel anything, even though it should be painful. Anyway, so I went back to my camp and took the medicine for the next like 4 days to get rid of the pain from that swelling. So it was Advil. She said, yeah, it helps with the not only the swelling but also the pain, whereas the other one only does the pain. It was like a ibuprofen or whatever. So anyway, I drove off the pavement at like 6 a.m. because I was like, being at the campground, I could show up at Burningman at like 8 or 9 a.m. and then be in camp at about, by 3 or 4 setting up camp. That's how it's gone for like the past 4 times, 5 times that I've gone. And so anyway, I spent all day in the right lane, and it was like nearing the end of the road we turned left curve, and then we turned right curve, and I ended up stopping, or no, I was like 3 cars behind where the cones are. I was like, okay, hey, I'm just a few minutes away from being ticketed, have inspection, and then I'm into Burningman. And this was Sunday at about 4 o'clock. Or was it 2 o'clock? No. It was about 4 o'clock. And this is me being there from like 10 a.m. So, or 9. It was 9. I think it was closer to 10 because I had to wait till it got lit. So it was 10 a.m. and I was in line for 6 hours. Third car in the lane before getting my vehicle inspected. And they're driving around and radioing and all. And then all of a sudden it got dark. I was like, why is it getting dark out here at Burningman? This place is supposed to be the hot desert. And I've been in my vehicle the whole time, and I have not been watching the weather or nothing. And it got dark, and then all of a sudden, it got real windy, and I was like, oh my God, what just happened? And dust was flying everywhere, and it was just this big dust cloud. And I was like, oh, okay, it's just a dust storm. Can we get this show on the road? Why would they be stopping for just a dust storm? I don't understand this. Let's go. Surely you have massive goggles on. You can look at my thing. You can scan it in my trunk or whatever so dust doesn't get in the way of the scanner. Let's go. So then I started hearing something on my vehicle, like somebody was thumping on the roof. And then I understood, oh wait, what? It's raining. And I was like, no way. And I even rolled down my window and rain was raining in. And that's where the dust on the front of the plastic pieces on the inside of my door, they're still there. That dust, it actually glues itself onto plastic. You actually have to touch it to scrub it to get it off. So that was about 4 o'clock, and about 4:45 the rain started, and then it started raining on and off for about maybe an hour. And then it went on for another hour, and the people in line, they put cones in front of the front car, and I was the third one. And they left. They disappeared. And it was like, wait a minute. You're supposed to be taking tickets. And I'm supposed to be driving into Burningman right now. And you just walked away. You left us stranded in line to get our ticket and inspect my vehicle. Stranded us in line and disappeared. That was about 4:45. It continued to rain probably about, I don't know, 2-3 hours, and then off and on for a fourth, just kind of sprinkling. To me, it seemed like it was just sprinkling. Oh, sprinkle a little here, sprinkle a little there, a little more, a little more. And then I started to look outside, and it was like, it's puddling. And I was like, no way. Rain doesn't drain here. Oh my God, I forgot. That's the clay. And so it would puddle around, and it was puddling. And I was like, oh no, they're going to have to wait till the puddles dry. So anyway, that was about 6 or 7 o'clock. And I was like, oh no. So it was, that's where we sat. And this is like 7 o'clock at night on Sunday. And 8. And then turned into 9. 10 p.m. So now I've been off the pavement for 12 hours. 11 p.m. I fell asleep midnight. Woke up about 2 o'clock a.m. Then about 3 a.m. This truck with headlights was like pointing straight at me at an angle up here, and it was somebody from the gate or one of those rangers, and he was like pointing at my vehicle with his headlights at like 3:30 a.m. and I was like, God, I'd like to take a hammer to those headlights. I mean, they're just, how rude can you be? And so I looked outside again, and most of it, the clay water was actually like curling up around the edges. And so it looked like an upside down mushroom all over the place. And the water had actually dried, and the clay had soaked it up and then dried and curled up with these little upside down mushroom patties all over the place. And so about 4:15 a.m. It was like, hey, start your engines. I was like, really? Oh my God. So I'd been off the pavement for 18 hours from 10 a.m. on Sunday until 4 a.m. on Monday morning. And it was like, oh God. So then it was 5 a.m. and they were like, hey, look good. Let me scan your ticket. Oh, your vehicle's scanned. Okay. Hey, got any drugs or weapons or other people, other campers in there? No. Okay, hey, look good. And I drove through and they said, see you later. And then I was off to my camp. So finally, so it was like 5:30 and I was driving around. I was looking for L. I was going to camp on L Street. I'm like, where the fuck is L? I can't find L anywhere. Where is L? Because I camped on L last year and I was going to camp at L and 4 and L for hell. 4 and L for hell. So, and then I found that, oh, they didn't have L this year. They took it out. They didn't want that much space. They didn't want to give us that much space. So they took the whole street out. It didn't exist. K was it. Like, oh, great. So I drove around to where 4 o'clock in K was. And then turned left at there. And then drove up to J. And it was actually like 4:15, and then kind of angled my vehicle over to the right so that the trailer and the truck would kind of shield me, and it would have this little turn in it, and then I would have this private space that nobody could interfere with because my vehicle and my trailer created this angle. And so I could camp there. So it was kind of a neat camping spot. It's far enough away from like the boom boom noise, which surprisingly enough, this year there was no boom boom noise. I actually drilled a hole at 4 feet, 3 feet, halfway in between the floor and the roof. Drilled a hole in the middle of each wall panel in between the studs in this cargo trailer, and took one of those Home Depot foam cans of foam and went drill a hole, drill a hole, drill a hole. Made sure that the foam filled up all the way from the outer panel to the inner wall, because there's this thin board all the way, and every single wall panel around the thing made a big difference. But then I didn't hear the boom boom, so it's like, oh man, okay, all right. So anyway, I got to camp on Monday, right? I got set up. I was just tired. I took a weight set with me, and I rolled out this white tarp so it wouldn't be hot. People can sit on it. People can lay out on it and work out with weights, and then I took like 200 pounds of free weights, the discs with a 1 inch hole in the middle and a bar, and then curling bars too. It's my whole weight set out there. A bunch of 25s, a bunch of 10s, a bunch of 5s. That way people can go and work out. You know, it's a $25 commodity. Um, it's a $25 a month. Some places $50 a month for a gym fee. So, and you're getting it free from me. So there it is, you know, a free gym at Burningman. What more can you ask for? That's a $75 a month uh, option. You know, it's really cool. You know, to have that available. So anyway, I put it's like an 8x12 white tarp, and then I took 3 inner tubes with I thought, oh, I don't want the inner tubes to blow away. So I actually went to Washington State Beach, and got black sand, which is heavier than regular blonde sand or white sand by a lot. It's like 10 pounds for half a gallon. And I put half a gallon in each one of those inner tubes. And then I carried another 2 gallons just in case, you know, and then I took another 3 or 4 inner tubes in case I didn't have enough. And people can sit in the inner tubes and the other person can work out with weights. So their girlfriend can sit there in the inner tube and watch her boyfriend work out with weights, or vice versa, or whatever. So anyway, I filled it up with the black sand, and they didn't go anywhere. Um, yeah, and I set the weight set out and all, and it got used like every day. Somebody was there using them every day. It was like, wow, look at this, and it was really cool having somebody use. You know, I thought it was a great camp idea, and then I put uh, can't oh camp calm down. So camp calm down on a board and put it out by the road in front of the tarp where the weights are. That way they can take it easy and camp calm down on the workout with weights and have the yellow inner tubes. I wanted to take a swimming pool out there and then cut part of the wall out, set it up, and prop it up with 2x4s, and then put the weights in the middle of the swimming pool, and then camp calm down. Anyway, the that would have been a little bit weird. Anyway, the where I camped at, there was the ring, the next inner road is the bus that drives by and goes all the way around Burningman, and then turns around and comes back like every like 30 minutes. So it's a bus, and it's a taxi bus. It's the burner bus. It goes at Horseshoes, goes all the way around it and comes back all day for the entire time. Daytime only, I believe. And so, yeah, on the first or second inner road, then you can go anywhere you want in the city on that bus, city bus, Black Rock City bus. It's a really cool feature. Then you can come by and work out with my weights, and then get back on it and ride back. A lot of people rode it to leave. To get up to the airport, because I was also right on the airport road that came out So people would ride the bus, and then the bus went up to the airport, and then it would leave the airport and go around the city. It's really cool. So that's that. If you ever have to, like, fly in and use that to get to wherever you need to go. So that was pretty neat. So the yeah, it's a cool option. So let's see, that was Monday. Got everything set up. So then about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, it started to get dark and these dark clouds rolled in. I was like, oh, no way. Sure enough, it rained on Monday. Monday afternoon, just a little bit. I mean, not very much, but it was just a little bit. I was like, oh man, it just rained, but it was just a little bit though. So I spent the rest of the day in the van till it dried out. Used bottles for toilet, and then oh yeah, that's another thing. For cleanliness sake, I take a 5 gallon toilet in the trailer. So, and it's in the trailer, it's a really good option. It's a cargo trailer. It's a 6x12 cargo trailer, and I've got it set up like a motel room with a toilet. It's really nice. And then I got the wider sprung cot. I mean, I'm really glamping in this cargo trailer. If it's windy and it rains, who cares? If it floods, I'm up above the ground by 1.5 feet. And I got my toilet, my bed, and water and everything. Anyway, I'm pretty proud of it. Yeah, it worked great. It really did. I've got a table. It's like a 6 foot table that I fold out, and then had it kind of tied to the bumper board. There's a bar that swings out that locks the door, and I had it kind of lashed on that so the table wouldn't tip over. And then I put the Coleman stove with a propane bottle there, and then that was that. And then the bicycle, I rode it all over the place every day. The light on the back of the bicycle didn't work too good. It only stayed lit for like 15 or 20 minutes. Like, oh, the little battery pack, little 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack didn't last very long. So what I did is I took it and put it on a tiki torch pipe and zip tied it to it, and now there's like a 6 foot light in our camp that lights up everything around us. And I put a little Harbor Freight 12-volt tractor battery down there at the base of it, and it kept it lit all night long for 5 nights, and it worked great for camp lighting. And then it rained Wednesday too, a little bit, and not as much on Sunday or Tuesday. So yeah, it rained like 4 days. But I would go right out on Monday just a little bit, and then there was lightning, and I was like, ooh, no, we're not going to be out here in the middle of the playa with it lightning like that. So, jumped on the bicycle. I said, oh, cool, Art. I'm done. And I rode back to camp, and then it lightened and thundered and rained. And that was like Monday or Tuesday. I even forgot which day it was. But I got up to see the man. That was cool. And then it started raining, so I went back to my camp. And came back. But the air was so clear for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, clear air. I wasn't choking on dust the whole week. It was so nice. It was so nice with clean, clear air. It's unbelievable. And then about Saturday, that ended, or Friday. It was actually Friday. The dust was getting looser, and it was like, oh no. And I could feel it. I was choking a little bit. And then if I get to breathing too much of that dust for some reason, it gets in my nose. It dries things up. Then I get the bleeding in my nose, and it draws blood out. So it's a personal issue. TMI. But anyway, the air was so clear that week. It's unbelievable. So that was neat. And then the art was a little bit on the lighter side, a little bit smaller installations, not so much like huge installs, uh, not the grandiose, large. There wasn't a Boeing 747 fuselage out there. Probably never see that again. There was a lot of the normal ones. The R cars that were there. They're always there. And then a lot of them had really cool lights. You can watch my other YouTube video, and I have a picture of some of the cars rolling around with their lights, like a 20-foot car with lights. It's kind of like an 18-wheeler trailer with a motor on it, and then just lights wrapping it. It is ceiling to floor. It is really cool. The That was neat. The moon wasn't too bright. It was out, but it wasn't too bright. But not that often, so it was nice and dark. That was weird. Then they had a nice lasers and lights, lots of lights and lasers at night, which was really cool. And I got like a little 3-minute video on that on YouTube. And then that was that. The art was really cool. The center camp was really nice. Center camp's different. It used to have like a coffee shop. Now they have, for the past 2 years, they've had lots of little, it looks like a little bitty strip mall. So they have like, you know, they have like different stores that you can go in and do things in a little enclosed hallway, and then the stores off the hallway. That's about what it was like, and it seemed kind of cool. They still have the open center floors like last year in 2024. They had the unicycle guy. He's on a 50, 60-foot tall unicycle. He gets up there with this giant pole and help from his friends, and he's able to ride the unicycle underneath the tent. He can actually touch the top of the tent while he's riding around, and then he does tricks, and then he comes down off of it with a pole somehow, which is really cool. And that was 2024, and then this year, and I was eating lunch, and they asked me if I wanted to wrestle in the middle of the floor. And this real nice girl came up, and she asked me, she said, "Do you want to do coconut oil wrestling?" I'm like, oh wow, what's that about? And I was eating my lunch, watching them do the coconut oil wrestling. And she said, "Oh, you can wrestle. Well, pick somebody, or if you have somebody that you want to wrestle, we'll pick somebody to wrestle with you, and then we'll give you a bath afterwards to clean all the shower, to clean all the oil off of you. But it'll be really entertaining." I was like, oh, I don't think that'd be too good after I eat my lunch. No, thank you. So, anyway, after that, I finished my lunch, and then I walked around and looked at the art of the boards that go around the backside of center camp. That used to be the logistics area where all the coffee connexes were. One was like all the trash and garbage that went into a connex. The other one was like offices. The other one was like a toiletry. And so, and then there was storage for supplies. I mean, there must have been like 10 connexes back there. So the whole walled-in area was for that. But they still have it for whatever reason. For storage, probably. And they put artwork, and then they flip the boards, and then they have artists paint something new. So they have the old art on the inside, and the new last year's art on the inside, and new art on the outside. So I walked around and looked at that. That's like some of the coolest paintings, coolest artwork of all. You can also recognize some of them from like subways. I mean, it's really cool art. The every time I see a train with spray painting on, it's like, oh, cool! Look at the artwork. Or drive through a subway or under a bridge, it's like, oh wow, look at the artwork. So it's really cool in that respect. But that was neat. I went and ate my lunch every day at Burningman, and I sat underneath the solar panel connexes. Somebody painted the connexes that the solar cell array is on top of, and then it makes this nice shaded area. And so that was cool. I got a penny. They had a penny stretcher in the center camp this year from last year for 2024 Burning Man pennies. They had tea. They had the stage. They had the individual stage. They had a band stage. And then they had lots of cool stuff. One year they had a you could go and hunt down things. It was like a map where you given a sheet of paper and you're supposed to find these clues and then find this cone that has a picture. I think that was in 2024. They didn't do that this year. They have these different projects. They're in center camp of art type that you get to go and do. That was pretty cool. I did that last year. This year I didn't. I don't know what it was, what happened. There was this Ninja Turtle guy, and I was even surprised he even walked through the center camp. I forgot what day it was. This Ninja Turtle looking dude, he stands like 6'5" or 6'2", a lot taller than me, and he had this Ninja Turtle suit on. It was looking really weird. I almost called the Rangers and like, can you check that guy out? But there was nobody around. There was no ranger around. That was weird. The camps were really neat. The Lamplighter bar, that's where I hung out at. If you go to I guess it's in different places, but the Lamplighter bar, there's a nice bar, always had cute girls in there. And then it's huge too. There's a big open tent area with couches and chairs that are comfortable. And it's kind of carpeted. And they have bicycle racks there near it and drinks, iced. And it was really cool. Mouse traps on the bar to see if you're quicker than a mouse trap. Kind of hurts. But that was I met quite a few people. I ended up singing some songs in there because they had music playing almost like karaoke if you want to sing along. I think I sang Creep. That was really cool. And then that was just off center. It was north. It was like at 8. Uh, Esplanade and 8, I believe. And that was neat. They had some really cool. Oh, I did some hula hooping. There was a hula hoop over there, and before you get to center camp tent and that road that goes out to Esplanade, there's a hula hoop uh, little camp there. There was girls that were having fun with wine, and she was bent over trying to pour wine from her boobs. And ended up slipping and broke the glass in the bottle, and wine went everywhere. It was a really fine mess. That was really weird. They had the same karaoke camp on the road through there. In 24, they had the ski ramp. This year, they did not. I bet because too many people got hurt from it. Oh, God. And then, let's see. Oh, there was a couple DJs there. That was cool. And then, yeah. The art cars are pretty quiet at night. They actually had them quieted down a little bit. We actually slept well from midnight to 6 a.m. every night. That was cool. And then it didn't rain but the first week, and then it got dusty about Friday, and I was like, dang it. I rode all the way out to the outer fence, back. I think I saw all the big art. I think I missed a few. A lot of returning artists too. I know one lady did rats. She like made these metal paper mache rats on the ground, and then one year she did beavers, and then one year she did crows. This year I think she did these mannequins out of paper mache and metal wire. It's really cool. Or trees. I think it was trees this year. And then little things that hang from the tree. It was really cool. And in 2024, they had these two giant wooden hearts in between two seats. This year I didn't see those. This year, yeah, it was a little bit light on the art this year. You kind of get a feeling, oh, should I go? If you ask that, you probably shouldn't. You should wait till you get the feeling like, oh, I really, really want to go, and then go. I think you see more things and bigger things. So the burn in 2024, I had a really bad experience because the it was loud, and they had like the art car right there next to the burn, and right inside the circle, and we were sitting right inside that, and it was just a bad experience altogether. But this year I went inside Esplanade about, I don't know, 100 feet. There were some lights. I sat there and watched the burn from a distance. You could see the thing if you spread your hand wide like this and put it at arm's length. That's how big the burn was to me at where I was at. So it looked great. It looked wonderful. And it was off to the side, so I could see all the fireworks like through them instead of like, one in one direction, like on the face, it would be all wide, but instead it was on edge, and so it was this really cool effect of fireworks. And then the burn itself could have been the quickest burn ever, I think. And then that was that. And then after it burned, well, I took back from 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock and at 4 and rode back to my tent and got back in my tent or my trailer, went to sleep. And then I went to the Temple Burn too. So at the Temple Burn, it was really cool. The way that they built the temple, they put these cracks in the wood, and it made it look like there were cracks. And so when they burned it, it like totally filled up with flames on the inside. And the cracks, I swear, it looked like somebody's skull, and you could like the flames shining through the cracks in the wood, the way that it was the openings, it looked like a head on fire. I mean, it was really cool looking, and so that was really neat. And then yeah, it went up in flames in like minutes. It was poof gone. So then I went back and put away some of my stuff, and um, yeah, left on Monday morning. Monday morning I left. I was sad because I didn't want to leave, but then I was tired of being there, and the dust was really bothering me again, so I had to leave. The dust was bad and was rough, and my nose was making fits, so I ended up. I had a lot of fun there. It was really cool. I think seeing the artwork and going to a couple of the camps and whatnot, and seeing some of the different people that I'd seen there before was cool. And then seeing the art that I've seen, the art cars that have routinely been there, and then actually having my bicycle furred up and then lit. That was really cool. And then setting up my camp with a weight set that somebody came and worked out with, and then having that light on my camp were like big improvements. So it was actually a big improvement from the previous year, 2024, and then way improvement from the other 3 years that I've been. Then the trailer was a sense of security and the safety, and that, I was free from the dust and camping, and then if it flooded, I would be high and dry, so that helped out a whole lot. So yeah, I got up early the next morning, didn't sleep too well, and got out the door. It must have been 4 o'clock when I threw everything in and drove off, and waited for probably an hour to get out to the pavement. And I thought I was gonna like doze off when all of a sudden I hear this loud song, and I'm trying to figure out what is this loud song. And it was singing about "Don't Google Mommy," and it was blaring loud. I was like, what the hell? There's no way I'm going to fall asleep in this 9-hour drive back home. I was like, oh dear God. But that song came out in like late 23, early 24. So that was just, oh God. So that was that. And I drove home. There was no rain. And it was a nice drive. It was a nice, got home about 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 6. I think it was like 5 or 6 when I pulled into home. And then, yeah, parked everything and went back inside. And then, like, walking back in the door is like, this is weird, walking back in the house. Because it's like, being someplace like that and then walking in the front door to your house is really cool. It's like, wow, I'd live here. So, yeah, that was pretty interesting. I almost vowed never to go again, but I've said that like 5 times already that I've been, and I've been 5 times. So, anyway, well, that was my story on Burning Man. I'm wondering if I'm going to go this year. It's always been a coin toss, a coin flip if I'm actually going to go or not. But that's my story this year about or 2025 and how it went. So it was really interesting. I could make some improvements. I don't know. My bicycle is not electric. It's all manual. Um. Anyway, I'm getting tired. I think it's great. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me while I tell my story of Burning Man and what I did while I was there and what I think was big wins, what helped it along, what helped me successfully endure. So, anyway, thanks for hanging out this long, and I'll leave you with this last final piece before I stop the video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great one.